tells you. Okay, live. Okay. All right. So we are now live. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Carlito and Tom. Uh, Tonight, I have a special co-host guest who's a very good friend of mine and a lot of people in the community, Alfred Santariga. Hey, Al. Thank you for being here tonight, brother.
Thank you for inviting me, Carlito. It's always a pleasure to.
Yes, sir. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm done. Just saying hello and thank you.
All right. And also we have a special guest tonight, which that's what we're gonna be talking about UFOs tonight. So it's gonna be UFO night, baby. And this interview, everybody, is long overdue with Kelly. I've been trying to get him to come on the show for, I'm gonna say, 3 or 4 months now, and it's finally happening. So and I couldn't wait because he's a really good UFO expert, researcher, because he does have his own group, and it's, I think, how many people do you have in your group?
16,500.
16,000, yeah.
16,000 plus, yeah. And it's
very
just
good.
over a year, so we're doing
Right.
good,
Yeah, man, that's excellent, dude. That's a big.
Yeah,
that's a
worldwide,
big
right? So we got people from everywhere. So
yeah, exactly.
a lot, mostly American,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is worldwide, though. So.
Yeah, we got Australia, Britain, Russian, everywhere, Africa, everywhere,
Right.
Chile, Argentina, Spain. What's funny is there's another group I post to, and when I first started, I really didn't look at the amount of membership in the group. So I decided, I'm going to see how many members this guy has.
Right.
260,000 members.
Wow.
And it's a UFO group out of Spain. And then I know the guy, right? He's actually writing a book, so I gave him a little bit of he wanted a little bit of information out of me to put in his book.
Right.
And so I asked him, I says, when did you start this group? He started this group just over a year ago, and he's got that many members.
Wow,
that's incredible.
Crazy,
that's incredible. So he started his group around the same time I started my group. And I only have 16,000, right? But
right. And
that's a lot
funny,
of members.
It's funny you mentioned that, because like me and Tom started this group in January, and we're at 2,000 right now. And Tom has his own group besides this one.
Yeah, he went somewhere on his own, right?
Yeah. He's got his own thing going on too. It's like a branch, sister group, because he's still in my group, and he still does come
That's
on,
like
on my group. Yeah, it's
Luke's
kind of
the same. Yeah,
right,
Luke's got his own group, but he's he's in my group too. He's he's on the admin team, and
right. Yeah, and it's the same way with Al and his buddy Brian. Same thing. They have their own groups. And they coincide like once a month, right, Al? Is that what it is? Right?
We try. Brian's always in trouble, though.
Facebook jail. I know. That's terrible when you.
Brian's always in trouble.
When they start getting on your back, boy, it can be a real problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
You got a group, Alfred?
Yeah, we got that's called the New York State UFO Project.
Okay.
And we take a lot of reports here in New York State, and
you should send me the link.
I definitely will. And we also have 2 other groups. We have the Bronxville Paranormal Society that focuses on ghosts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We have the New York State Sasquatch Organization that focuses on Sasquatch, and we have the New York State Dogman Project that focuses on Dogman.
On the Dogman,
So we take reports from it's called New York State, but we take reports from the tri-state area, New Jersey and Connecticut, and we go out and we try to hit as many locations as we can when we can. But we're both working guys, and the schedules are tough. And when we're not working, we got a honey list do like this,
Oh, so man! Well, where do you? It's almost like where do you get the time to do it all, right? You sound
Absolutely, yeah.
like that. That'll what you got going there. That'll keep you real busy.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy getting out. We just went up to Connecticut. We did something with a friend of ours, Chris Reinhardt from Berkshire Mountain Bigfoot. He's got his own group and he's got his own podcast. And he invited us up to the Berkshires, and we just was up there a couple of weekends ago. And we did some stuff up there, and we had some, we had some really interesting stuff happen to us on the mountain, crazy stuff. And we didn't get anything on film, but I mean, it was just stuff going on around us the whole time we were there.
Like noises and
But
stuff like that.
There was this one time where I was up above Chris and Brian, and they were below me, and I was facing them, and I thought I had the camera running. I could have sworn I had the camera running, and either something ran through these bushes, because the bushes just went like this, or something jumped out of the tree onto the bushes, and something just flew by my head. And I turned to them and I said, "Did you guys just see that?" And they didn't see. And I flicked the camera over to UV, and there was nothing there. And I switched it over to IR, and there was nothing there. But it made no sense for the bushes to shake like this when there was no wind blowing. Yeah. It was very, very weird. And there was another time we're coming down off the mountain, and Brian was behind me, and he was wearing a body cam. And I was in the middle of this trail, and he was behind me, and the trail was like 4 feet wide. So it was pretty wide trail, And all of a sudden I felt something touch my face, and I turned around with like this dumb look on my face to see what I walked into. I thought I walked into a branch, but I didn't see the branch as I was walking. So I was like, what the hell did I just walk into? And Brian said, I turned around, and because he's right behind me, and he sees this look on my face, and he's like, what happened? And I said, something just touched my face, and I thought it was a branch. I was going to snap it so he wouldn't walk into it, but there was nothing there. There was no branch. And he checked his camera too, and he said whatever it was invisible, because his camera didn't pick it up either. But it was just a strange. I mean, we heard bullfrogs, on top of the mountain where there was no water. I mean, we heard them down. We heard this this bullfrog had the deepest voice you ever heard. Okay.
Yeah.
And down at the bottom of the mountain, there's a pond, so you could say okay. But when we went up on top of the mountain, and it took us like an hour to get to the top, it was really high, and we were still hearing this bullfrog. It made no sense, it's just crazy stuff. But
That's
I mean,
wild.
Tonight I got invited out to a ghost hunt tonight,
Wow.
but I didn't go because I had already committed to this with Carlito,
Yeah.
So
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'd love to do one of those. I believe in that stuff,
And I've been to this location twice already. As a matter of fact, it's the location where I seen the ghost cat. Okay.
Wow.
And it's a crazy place. It's been on TV a bunch of times, and I know the owner of the home, and I would love to have gone, but I said okay. I was already committed to Carlito, and I wasn't going to leave him hanging, so I blew it off. But but it's always exciting when you do these things, and I look forward to doing them, whether it's like I normally go out on October squatching. That's the time of the year I go to our spots, because it seems to be like the mating season or something, and they're always around. And but this year it got so cold so quick on us, and then with all the rain, I just didn't feel like shredding through mud and stuff, and then you get
I don't like that.
wet from the mud, and then it gets freezing cold at night, and you're sitting there in the middle of the woods, and you're freezing,
no, thank you.
and it wasn't meant to be this fall. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get to you.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well,
give us a short bio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I just want to mention that this is the first interview that Kelly does because he hasn't
Well,
really done any
I've been a
interviews.
big
So,
UFO fan,
uh-huh. Right.
right?
Mhm.
Since about years ago. And then that Falcon Lake incident back in '67 with Stefan. I'm not sure how you say his last name, Machalak or Machalak or something like that. But he was out prospecting
Yep.
up in the Whiteshell area at Falcon Lake, and he came across a couple of UFOs, which one landed, and then it sort of burned him, and he ended up, years suffering with this burn. It would heal, and then years later it would come back and cause him problems. And but ever since I heard that story, I've
Mhm.
been interested in UFOs. Right, so in the last 4 or 5 years, I started managing a group for a woman who had uh, about 5 UFO groups, so about 200,000 members. So I was doing it as
Wow.
fun, right? If it's not fun, then don't do it, right? So it stopped being fun, out, and then I went on my own. So I've been I think about a year and a half now with my own group. So it's been going good. I got 16,000 members, and uh, everybody seems to get along on the group, right? I always make sure I get rid of the trolls, right? I don't want swearing. I don't want people being disrespectful to other members. That was a big one for me, right?
Right.
Because I in a lot of the UFO groups, you see that, right? People just being mean, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's about it. I just, I love it. It's a hobby for me, and it's just something I like doing.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to that location of up to
I
Falcon
have
Lake?
many times. I actually, what
Ha-
happened is, what's that?
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, actually, I had a sighting back in, so it would have been in 1972. Every summer, my whole family would go up to to the West Dock Lake area. That's just kilometers away from the Falcon Lake area. So they call that area the Whiteshell area. It's close to the Ontario border, and it's, I guess, eastern Manitoba. So we were finished camping, and we were coming home in a car, and it was there was, so there would have been 6 of us, my parents and my other 3 siblings in the car. And what happened was my older brother saw something up in the clouds. It was a spotty white cloudy day, windy, very windy, blue sky though. And it was a silver, you could see it was silver because when the sun when this thing moved a certain way, it kind of reflected, so it looked silvery, right?
Mhm.
Metallic. And the clouds were just whipping past this object. So this object was just hovering, it was not moving. So there's no way it could have been a balloon, you know. Otherwise, it would have been
How?
moving quite. It was. Oh, I can't say like how high it was. I like let's say it was higher than the clouds, right? It
Okay.
looked like it was higher because when the clouds would come by, it would block. It would move past it, right? The clouds would move past it, and this thing would when it went past, it was still sitting there. So we actually stopped the car and we got out just to make sure we're seeing what we're seeing, right? And yeah, it was just sitting there. It was really high up there, though. So I don't think it was a star or a planet.
What
I
year
don't.
was this,
This was
Kelly?
back
If you
in
don't mind.
'72,
72.
and
Wow.
we were just coming out of the Whiteshell area on number 1, heading back to Winnipeg. Right, the camping weekend was over,
What time of the day was it? Day or
so
night?
that was my only sighting. So it would have probably been like 11 a.m.,
Okay, early morning.
11 in the
Okay,
morning,
Wow.
early morning.
okay. Now, when you guys stopped the car side of the road, was there any other traffic on the road?
It was not a whole lot, right? But I mean, you had some traffic, but
Okay.
there wasn't, a lot. I mean, if you weren't looking, I mean, it wasn't obvious that a lot of people would pull over and be looking up in the sky, right? It
Right.
wasn't
Right.
low, and it was quite high up there. It was, if you didn't notice it, you wouldn't have even seen it, right?
Right. Now, where I'm going with this line of question is, um, w- did you guys happen to know the time when you spotted it and the time when you left and got back in the car? Did you lose any time?
No, didn't
No.
lose. Not
You're
that we
positive
know.
about that.
Yeah, pretty positive. We
Pretty
all just got
positive.
back in
Okay.
the car and just said, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Pretty cool. It's a UFO. It's unidentified, right? I mean, it. To me, I think it was a craft because there's no way it could have been a balloon. It was just too windy of a day. I mean, it was windy, and
Yeah.
those white
Well, if
clouds
the
were
clouds
just
are
moving.
whipping by, yeah.
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 So, and if it was a jet that high, it would have been moving too. And this thing didn't seem to be moving. You know.
Yeah. And it
So
was
that
probably
was
too
quite.
high for a helicopter.
Yeah, and being in that area, which is there is a lot of sightings up there, right? But now whether it's daytime sightings, I'm not sure. But I know there's been a lot, you know, especially at night. But
Now,
that's the
I got Luke on the. I
oh,
got
you got
Luke
Luke on the phone.
on
Oh,
my
we can
phone.
talk to him, but no picture.
Yeah, got him on my phone, man. Can you hear me, Luke?
Yeah, hello, Toledo.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Hey. How you going?
Yeah, because I got the.
Anyways, what were you going to say, Alfred?
getting back to the Falcon Lake
see,
incident
hold on.
itself, have you ever went up to that location where the craft landed?
No, I would have loved to.
No.
Hold on
No.
one second.
But it's
Okay.
pretty. It's really weird there. It's it's very rocky there with
Okay.
little hilly mountains. A lot of the lakes there were formed by meteorites, right? Thousands of years
Okay.
ago, or whenever, right? But it's you like there's some trails there, and the mountains are quite high. So I'm not sure exactly where he was. I don't know
Okay.
if anybody knows exactly where he was when that happened to him, right? He was
Well,
actually
I know the government, the American government and the Canadian government went up there and investigated the location.
yeah, they did.
So they knew where it was because he told
Well,
them where
they
it
know,
was. Yeah.
but
He
I don't think a lot of other people, just your normal Joe, I don't think would.
right. No,
I don't
no,
think
but
they put
I
a
mean,
sign there. I don't know. Maybe there is a plaque there. Hey, the Falcon Lake sighting happened right here. You never know.
yeah, I
But
probably not,
it's a
but
really it's a really nice. It's beautiful up there. Like Manitoba has, especially close to Ontario, the camping and the lakes are just unreal, beautiful.
yeah,
But
because
those lakes,
I did some research into that incident, and and I seen that he what was the guy's first name again?
Stefan, yeah,
Stefan, yeah. He went back up with a UFO researcher later on after he got out of the hospital because he was really injured pretty bad.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they went up there and they did find a burn mark where the craft landed, a big 15-foot, something like that. I think it was 15 foot, maybe even 25 circumference circle that was there. And they did find high radiation in the ground,
and they also said that that's what his burn was. It was a radiation burn.
Well, they said that it didn't, according to the research I did, the the tissue didn't show radiation. There was no radiation in the tissue, but the burns themselves would be consistent with radiation. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's what they were saying. All right, I was reading something about some doctor, like the doctor who was treating him,
yeah,
um, and uh, and the doctor was saying that the burns on his chest where it was really burnt bad was steam or heat,
yeah,
but that checkerboard he had that little thing on his belly,
yeah,
that that re, that even though there was no radiation in the skin tissue, it resembled a radiation burn.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
crazy thing about this is that it would go away and it would come back.
I know. Isn't that
And
strange?
this went on for
For
years and years
years.
and
Yeah,
years. Yeah.
yeah. It would heal, and then
It
it
would
would
heal.
just it would just erupt and start blistering and get all kind of puffy and and then he'd have to deal with it again.
Yeah, he'd be in a lot of pain. Yeah.
And how do you get a grid burn like that? Come on.
Yeah, no, that was
You know,
definitely something that to
something happened
me,
to him.
that looks more like a steam burn with that
Yeah.
grid than the burn on his chest,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
according to the doctor, it was just the opposite way around. The way the skin melted on the chest was more resemblant of a heat burn from
Yeah.
steam. And the other thing was just
Fascinating case.
yeah, I
That's
believe the
just
guy
like I was talking
100%.
to. Well, you know what? I was talking to Preston Dennett. He's a researcher. You
Oh
guys
yeah,
know
yeah,
Preston
yeah,
Dennett.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking
That
to him the
Preston
other day.
he's always posting on our page. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's always on my
Yeah,
page
yeah.
too. But he messaged me on Messenger and he was talking about uh, the schoolyard UFO incidents. Right? There's another one that's really fascinating. You got so many of them, right? You got the one that happened in Florida. I forget the school there. I just posted that one in my group there. Did you see that one, Alfred or
I
Carlita?
didn't.
Did you see that one?
I've
I
been
can't
running
remember.
around all
And then
day. Yeah.
you got the one in isn't there one in Britain, Wales, or something? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
How'd you get on? Oh, there's no sound. He's got no sound.
Sorry, mine was muted while I was doing this. Are you? Can you hear us, Luke? Okay, can you guys hear him?
No.
Now.
No. Oh, okay. They can't hear you.
You can hear him, Carlito?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Really?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's strange. But anyways, and then you have the Africa one, right?
That was another schoolyard thing in Africa, right?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
And you got it. And then I was saying to him, one of the school ones,
I'm
kids.
thinking. Oh, sorry.
Hold on.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah.
One of the school ones, the kids described the alien, sort of like the Hopkinsville aliens were described. Pointy ears, short, not like a gray alien, sort of different.
No.
And it kind of reminded me of the Hopkins, because I'm sure if you guys saw the video in the story on the Hopkinsville, right? You know which one I'm talking about, where they're all in the cabin, right?
Yep.
Well, and that one though, it was nighttime and they had red eyes like the Mothman, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Their eyes were glowing red and they had pointy ears and they were short. So they're just fascinating stories, just, I don't know. And I think there's even some Brazilian cases, UFO cases, where that same being is described. It's not a gray,
Yes.
it's short, but it's pointy ears, like an elf sort of with glowing eyes. Kind of strange.
And you know what? There's a place in, I want to say West Virginia or Kentucky, where they have these what they call cave goblins. And they look exactly like those aliens.
Really, eh?
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes. Amazing. The people who've seen them, and they draw remnants of them. Artists do a remnant, and it looks just like those little aliens. Go ahead, Carlito.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's up, Carlito? Hi, Luke.
Still
Tell
can't
him
hear
Kelly
Luke.
said hi. We're going to have to all learn sign language.
Yeah.
But you know what's another fascinating case? Two more cases that really fascinate me is the one that I really like. I want to get the book and I want to read it. Is the Trinity case with Jacques Vallée and Paola there that investigate and wrote that book. The 19. So that would have been what was it? 1945. The Trinity bomb. I think
Yeah, I
it
don't
was
remember.
2 years before the Roswell. Roswell was in 47, right?
Right. Yes,
so
Roswell was definitely.
So Trinity was this case that they're writing about, which the kids were running the farm, but they were like Paola and Jacques say, they were very mature for their age. They had a lot of responsibilities, and they only spoke Spanish. But they witnessed this crash, and they watched this crash, and they actually watched this crash even when the army showed up, and there was entities seen in this crash, right? And they looked like they were, these entities were scared, and they described them as floating around. It looked like they were sort of floating around in the craft, and but they don't know what, like when they watched the army, when the army showed up, they don't, they never saw these aliens, like so either these aliens ran away, or somebody picked them up, or the army took them. They don't know. But that case really, really interesting. If you guys ever get a chance, I'm sure you might have even watched a video on that already. What do you guys think of that story?
Yeah, no,
And
I remember the story. I don't remember where Trinity was. What
Yeah.
and where do you?
I'm trying to think of where it is now.
Was that in New Mexico or something?
Yes,
like that?
yes, it was a part of
Okay.
New Mexico, and
Okay,
it was a I forget the town's name. Texas something was the town's name.
Texas
And
City.
I'm not sure, but there were 70,000 people when they did this bomb off close to where these people lived.
Wow.
It actually quite sad when you hear some of the story. A lot of people probably got radiation sickness from it, right? But
Depending on which way the wind was blowing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the craft looked like an avocado.
Yes.
It was shaped
And I
like
guess
an avocado.
would that be considered what they call an egg craft today?
I don't know. Like, I've heard of there's been other cases where it's been oval shaped, sort of, right? Avocado oval, right?
Right.
What's that other one so is that Zamora case there with the policeman there that saw that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one was
this.
but that one was sort of sitting up on legs, right? This one was.
Yep.
This one like dug a ditch, and then did an L-shaped ditch and stopped. And there wasn't a lot of damage to this thing, to this craft, supposedly, right? And they even noticed these fiber sort of string stuff that was coming out of where a piece of the craft did, like a hatch popped off, right? So they collected this stuff because it glowed. It lit up on its own. You didn't have to plug it in. They put it in their windows, the kids. They even put it on their Christmas tree. But they didn't touch it's
Did they really? I don't remember.
Honestly, in the
that.
story when you hear the story on the video I have on my group, I can repost it. They didn't like touching it because it gave them a shock.
Oh wow!
When they would touch it, this stuff. But actually, it was a little girl that started collecting it. She put it in. And so she was giving it to her friends, and they were putting it in the windows, and it would light up like Christmas lights, right? It was pretty weird.
Wow.
Interesting story though.
I wonder if that was like where we got the fiber optics from.
Well, I was just gonna say it was just like fiber optics, right?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder where. I mean, look at our technology, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I think some of it's got to be coming from somewhere. Do you think it's just us that have, gotten rid of?
Absolutely not. No.
No.
Absolutely
Absolutely not. What?
Absolutely not. We're not that intelligent.
Yeah. So we had the tube, right? You remember the tubes?
Yeah.
And the TVs and the stereos. We had those tubes,
big tubes. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're in these microchips. Your phone's got more than what was going on the moon, the lander.
Yeah.
Your phone's
absolutely.
got, come on. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd have little TV screens when we were young?
Right.
This is like Star Trek stuff.
Hey, when I was in 5th grade, 72, that's how long ago. They told us that we were going to have phones that we'd be able to see each other on and talk to each other on the screen. And I was like, yeah, I don't believe. I said, I believe that when I seen it, and here we are today. You know what I mean?
Wow, you you had a sort of a psychic teacher there
Yeah, well,
telling
she,
you.
she, you know what? She was Native American. She was Cherokee, and I don't know what she knew, but she used to tell us, yeah, one day with the phones will have TVs on them, and you'll be able to talk to each other and see each other. And we just laughed. We're like, yeah, because we had the rotary phone, and it took
Oh yeah,
forever to
you remember all
dial a
that? Oh,
number,
that I mean, the
with the
kids
long
today,
extension cord, so we're like 50
kids
feet
kids
long.
today have hey, kids today have no idea.
No idea.
No
No
idea.
idea. Yeah,
You
no,
were
but
slave to that phone that was connected to that
to
wall.
the wall. That's
Yeah.
it. And the cords just got longer and longer, so you could take them from sitting underneath it, talking to your
Yeah,
friends or your girlfriends, or to when the cords got longer, you take them to like the next room and shut the door.
and by the
So you
time
have a private conversation.
by the time you were trying to phone somebody for help, it was too late. By the
Yeah.
time you had to
That's how you
dial
got the
and dial and
dial.
Yeah,
dial,
there was no
it's
911.
like
No,
they're
yeah.
answering it. You're already gone.
You'll be a dead man. Yeah, you're a dead man. Absolutely. But
But that Trinity case, I'm going to post that in my group again because I just love posting that story. That podcast is really interesting, and I think the book is probably just as interesting. You know, so
yeah,
I
there was another one too that happened before Roswell. But it wasn't the Trinity case. I don't remember the name offhand.
is that the Chihuahua one where the
Maybe.
Mexican army, the Americans went across the border and
No,
all they met
no,
and what
no.
what one was
There was
that? Where
that was
the
right.
the
That was
soldiers were
where
all dead. The
that
Mexicans,
was in that area that they call the dead zone in Mexico,
yeah,
where there's no connect. Nothing goes through there. You know what I mean? There's like no satellites
yeah,
don't
but
work or whatever.
there was a UFO crash, and then the
Yeah.
Americans got wind of it, went across the border, and the convoy that had the UFO, the crash UFO that were supposed to, the Mexicans that were going there to convoy it, they all died. When the Americans showed up,
They all
they were all
died.
dead. The
Yeah, they
craft
were
was
all
still
dead.
there, but they were dead.
Yeah.
So really interesting story, that one too. That's
Yeah, that
another
was
good one.
interesting. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
another good one.
I just want to ask both of you guys because I know y'all are very knowledgeable on UFOs. What do y'all think about the Roswell Cracks? I mean, do y'all think
I
they
think
held something?
I think
Oh,
I
that,
think it happened.
of course it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my
They blew
mind
it,
it
but
happened.
they admitted it. That was the biggest mistake. They admitted it, and then they tried changing the story.
They trying to
Yeah,
change
once
it to
once they admitted it and
Yeah.
and then they tried to backpedal on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was all you needed to know.
And then that
they've been
guy that was
backpedaling on it for 70 years.
And then that guy that was holding the tinfoil there, he
Yeah.
before his death, he came out and he told people that wasn't the stuff that they picked up. That was
No.
just planted for the photograph for the news as being a weather balloon or whatever
Yeah.
if they're trying to tell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I think that happened. I really do. There's been a lot of them, right, that you can question. Like we've been lied to for 70 years. So,
Oh, yeah.
70 years.
You know,
is
so-
that what it is?
Absolutely.
Is that the official number? Because
Well,
I
it's
think
probably
more
longer than that.
and I think it's more
it's
like
probably
100.
longer than that.
But
That's
Yeah.
why when they do come out with this, government, to bring it out in the open that they exist. I mean, will they ever really? I mean, how do you forgive them for lying to us like that?
right.
That's the big part of it, right?
Yeah, I don't think they care, to be honest with you, whether you forgive them or not. You know what I mean? They're
So that-
doing what they have to do to protect.
But that's a reason for
The-
them not to tell the truth.
Right, absolutely. And if I was the government, I would never tell the truth either. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I don't
would-
think-
I would
I don't
never
think we're-
confess to it.
I don't think we're going to get the answers. I don't know if what do you guys think of Lou Elizondo? I know
Yeah,
a lot
but I
of
was
people
go-
are
I was
starting to
gonna
get
go
tired
there.
of him. Huh?
Well, you know what? I was thinking about Lou today, as a matter of fact. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and here's a guy. and I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm from New York and I think that I'm cynical, but here's a guy who had a pretty damn good gig, okay? And he was making probably six figures doing what he was doing, knew more about UFOs than the president of the United States, right? Probably had a higher clearance, top secret clearance than the president of the United States.
Definitely.
And you know, why do you walk away from that gig? Explain that to me. Why? I don't understand why someone would walk away from that gig if you have all this inside information and
Yeah, and then
and I don't know everything there is to know about Lou, but I would imagine he probably traveled around the world speaking to all kinds of dignitaries, presidents and kings and stuff like this on this subject, generals, right? He had a lot of juice, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and then you got to think about this. If he does walk away and he opens his mouth, does he get assassinated? Because there's these people could think less about knocking you off, or do they do something like, well, if you open your mouth, we'll kill your wife, and then if you keep talking, we'll kill your kids.
Well,
You know what I mean?
why do you think he stops himself from saying too much as it is? There's things he will not talk about.
Yeah, but I just don't
He stops.
understand why you walk away from that gig.
Well, you're
Why?
right there. Well, and then hearing
It
that he
doesn't
was
make
living.
any sense to me.
Well, and then to hear that he was living in his camper. He was living out of his camper.
Yeah.
So, you go from riches to rags for what?
Yeah,
for
riches
what?
to rags. Yeah. For what?
You know?
What does he get out of it? Maybe a book, a TV
Well, I'll tell
deal.
You're getting a lot of people that are starting to not believe in him. I got a lot of members that post about him, and I don't know what to say because I'm kind of on the fence still. I don't know. I'm still hoping he's not, a plant.
I don't know if he's a misinformation agent, if he's a plant, or if he really claims to say who he is. But there is official documentation that he did work for, I forgot the name of the agency, ATIP or something like that, right? Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
ATIP?
Yeah. ATIP,
so, I mean, so if there's evidence that he actually worked for them, then again, if you're privileged to that kind of information, why would you throw it away? He may have even sat down with aliens. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't know, right?
We don't know, and discuss and try to what you would call it, work things. What was the word I'm looking for? Just like work things out, like negotiate treaties and stuff like that. We don't know. If you're that guy, Carlito, you walk away from that gig?
No, hell.
I don't think I would. I don't think I would either.
Well,
I mean, if he did, I mean, what's the reason?
That's what makes me want to bang my head against the wall. Why?
Yeah.
Why did you?
Because I'm sure in the beginning he when he went on his own and he started trying to investigate and bring it to the public, he wasn't getting paid. I'm sure.
What's the name of the guy you guys are talking about right now again?
Lou Alessandro.
Lou Alessandro. We just had some people join, so that's why I was trying to.
Luis Alessandro. He was the head of ATIP. That was Black Ops branch of the government, working on alien intelligence and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like after Project Blue Book, and they said they weren't investigating UFOs anymore.
Yeah, he's basically the 2000s Hynek. That's basically what he is.
Well, let me make a short pause because I want to add something to that. That's something
jump in.
Go ahead.
It's very similar. Phil Snyder. You guys.
Phil Snyder was.
He put a lot out there.
But he was a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil had no above top secret clearance to deal with extraterrestrials. He was contracted to build these secret bases and tunnels under the earth, right?
So you're
That was
talking
his thing.
about the guy that witnessed the that got shot at, lost his fingers and stuff, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
then they figure he committed suicide, but then they're saying they think he was killed,
Yeah.
right? Is that the
Yeah.
guy you guys are talking about?
Yeah.
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 That's an interesting story too. Very
He
interesting.
was suicided. You know, that's what they call it.
Yeah,
Suicided.
it was. They called it a suicide, but he strangled himself.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How do
Yeah,
you
no.
strangle yourself?
Yeah,
you would
that's
pass out. You would pass out first, right?
First, yeah,
You'd
yeah.
pass out. You'd
Before
fall to the
people-
ground, and
yeah.
and you would start breathing again. You can't
you know-
strangle yourself.
Yeah,
But
you
you know, a
can't
lot of
strangle
people
yourself.
don't believe that story, right?
Right.
Even people that are, UFO believers, they don't believe what he has to say. That guy, I'm on the fence with it too.
I believe that guy.
Do ya?
I believed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was just something about that guy.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be a psychic by any stretch
Yeah.
of the imagination.
Yeah,
but
I'd
when
have to
when
look
heard-
into his. I'd have to look into him more.
Yeah.
When
but
I heard about him,
Check it out. It's good. He exposed a
it
lot.
was-
He exposed a lot.
And you know who else was another guy that I believed right from the start?
Mhm.
What's his name? The guy that everybody killed when he came out with the Element 42, whatever it was.
Oh, Bob
from
Lazar.
Roswell.
Bob
Bob
Lazar.
Lazar. When
Yeah,
Bob
Element
Lazar-
115.
Right,
Element
whatever, I
115.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When he came out and he
I
had
believe
that
him.
big,
I believe
when
him.
he came out and he had that big thing underneath the tent in the desert, and he talked about what he did and who he worked for, and he talked about that element, and they ridiculed him and they made him look. And I forgot who I turned to. I remember watching, and I turned to somebody and I said, "This guy's telling the truth. This
I
guy,
think so too.
this guy." And then what? Years later, all of a sudden, that element is on the periodical table. You know what I mean? Where'd it
Yeah.
come from? You know.
Yeah. No, I believe
Yeah.
him. I believe what
I
he's got to
I
say.
believed him right.
He
from
talks
the
about how
get-go.
those flying saucers, the propulsion system works, and
Anti-gravity. Yep.
and the scientists believe the gimbal that we saw on that video is flying the exact same way. It sort of rotates its bottom, and it moves. Right. That's the way it
Right.
accelerates, and that's the way Bob Lazar said they operate when he saw these crafts and he was working on that propulsion system. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah. Very interesting stuff. Absolutely. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't believe Bob Lazar, but after I watched him interviewed with George Knapp and what's that other guy's name? His buddy there, that young guy with the beard. Keep forgetting his name.
I
You
don't
guys
know.
Oh
Maybe not.
Anyways.
Not the Greek guy.
no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's his name?
There's so many. I can't remember right now.
Yeah, there's just too many of them. Anyways, I watched an interview with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan had him on,
Yeah.
right? Had
Okay.
them all
Joe
on,
Rogan
right?
had
And that whole conversation had me convinced, and I was convinced anyways, right? I've always believed a guy I'm not that much of a believer in, because I think he's kind of gone a little strange. Is Greer?
I was gonna get to him too. at
The
some
doctor,
point.
the
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah,
he's
Dr. Greer.
he's really into that CE5 and let's make money, right? He's really pushing that.
Let me tell you something. When the first time I seen Dr. Greer, and I heard him talk,
He's got
I
the gift of
turned-
gab, man.
I turned to my partner Brian and I said, "This guy is a misinformation agent. This guy is working for the CIA." And I says, "I'm not saying everything he's saying is full of shit, because there's a little bit of truth in everything he says, because they're feeding him tidbits of information. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? To make him look good. I mean, this is a guy who's okay. He's a doctor. Okay, there's zillions of doctors around the world. This guy is going to sit with presidents and kings around the world to talk about UFOs.
Yeah.
You're a doctor. Who are you? You're not
Yeah.
head of state.
But
And
you know
you're
what? If
sitting
you
down
listen
with
to
kings.
the guy knows what he'll get you to believe in it. Like that guy will sell you anything. That guy has
no,
the-
listen. I'm telling you, some of the stuff that he talks about is legit.
Yeah.
He's getting it from the people who know.
Yeah.
But he's also a lot. I believe there's a lot of misinformation in what he says.
Yeah.
And on the other
I
hand,
agree.
he's making a lot of money off of this stuff.
He's
you
making
know?
a ton of money.
Yeah,
They don't.
he's
When
making millions and millions of dollars off of the stuff he sells. These
yeah, just
apps
from
and
the just
everything.
from the just from the seminars. You imagine what they're
Yeah,
paying him just to do the seminars.
yeah,
Trust
yeah.
me. And then now I hear he's into that. He does the CE5 groups, and it's not
Yeah,
cheap. It's
no,
like
this.
it's not cheap to go
And here's another thing about him. When he does his CE5s, he's always able to bring a craft in.
yeah.
Right? Now, look, maybe he's got a special connections with some kind of alien race. I don't know. Or maybe he's letting the CIA know when he's going to do them. Could you have a little flyby? You know what I mean? Something is
Yeah.
going on there. Yeah. I mean,
So what do you guys think?
Go ahead.
What do you guys? I'm sorry for unless you want to keep talking about him.
No, keep going.
What do you guys think about the Tic Tac? Do you guys think that it's off world? Do you guys think it's one of ours? What do you guys think?
I think it's off world.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Honestly,
I'm going that route.
Honestly, I think half of the UFOs that have been sighted are human.
I think the triangles are.
And
I think
half
some of the
are
triangles that we're seeing
actual.
are could be reverse engineered.
Mhm.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think some of them,
triangles.
but not all, because
Yeah.
a lot of those triangles and chevron shaped craft have been seen 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. They've been witnessed.
They didn't
You know,
have that. Yeah, they
I
didn't have
think
that
there's even
technology.
I think there's even some guys looking through a telescope back in the 1800s, looking at the moon, noticed two triangles. I think there's even a story like that.
Yeah, they go back to before mankind was able to fly, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
But I think some of them are.
I think that one is, and I'll tell you my opinion on it. I think it is because at some point it goes into the water at the same speed it was traveling in the air.
The Tic Tac.
And if you was to take a conventional plane and try to do that, if you would have tried to dive with one of those F-15s and do that, it would have just exploded to a billion pieces.
But they, like,
you know what I mean?
So they figure over 80,000 feet, right to just before the water, and stop like a dime.
Right.
They were doing stuff like that too. In how many seconds?
Yeah, exactly.
In seconds.
He said this
80,000
thing was
80,000. Yeah.
How do you do that?
Stop.
Come on,
yeah.
we can't do that.
No, we
There's
can't
no
do that.
way
We'll die. We'll die.
Well, yeah, I mean, we couldn't handle the G-force unless they got some kind of robots driving them, or they're autonomous, right? Unless they're autonomous.
It's not even that. It's anti-gravity. And anti-gravity. If you start reading the reports about the USOs, right?
Yeah.
And these Navy guys see these things. These guys in these subs see these things flying underneath the water, like 100 miles an hour, right? 100 knots or whatever. But they're not creating any wake because it has like some kind of
bubble. It's got
some kind of bubble. I don't know if you want to call it
it's a bubble. It's sort of like
gas bubble, an air bubble, or whatever it is. Force field, whatever you want to call it. But that water is never touching that craft. To slow it down. There's no drag. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Stuff. Hey guys, I wanted to
wonder. It's probably was a mother ship they saw. The guys in the jets, because they saw all that turbulence in the water down below, right? And that's when they noticed that Tic Tac, zooming
There's a video. It's a very old video. Actually, I've seen it like maybe 12, 13 years ago, and it just resurfaced recently. I just seen it.
And it's a TikTok?
On TikTok, yeah, and it's I think it's in Spain somewhere because they're speaking Spanish, but I could tell it's Spaniard Spanish, right? which they call Castellano. That's the language they
True
have.
Spanish,
Yeah, the true Spanish, and they're talking like look at that, what is that, and they're filming the whole thing the whole time, and two jets go by like that, chasing it, and it turns around like real fast. 90s turns to 180 or whatever, right back around, and it stops like right in front of the right in front of the boat where they're at.
Yeah.
And then like maybe I don't know, maybe 10, 12 feet above the surface of the water, and then they see the jets coming back, and they go back to the UFO, and the UFO, as soon as he sees the jets coming straight at him, he shoots right in the ocean, like that, and they just fly by, boom, you know what I mean? And they're like, wow, you see that? It went in the water, and it didn't even make a big splash or anything. So I agree with what
I love those.
saying. What y'all are saying, yeah, they have.
I love those USO. I love those USO stories. I just love them, and and a lot. There's a lot of them, right? There. I'm always trying to dig them up, right? Those older ones. They interest me. I like that.
Hey guys, I just wanted to touch real quick on this message that this comment that somebody put. It's Travis King says. Ever heard of the crop circles that provided an answer to this physics equation before any other physicist could figure it out? Have y'all ever heard of that?
No.
I've heard of the crop circles that replicated what was put on the gold record that was sent out in space.
I saw that. Yeah. I haven't really delved into the crop circle stories and field that much. I just I don't know. I follow the UFO and USO mostly.
It's very fascinating.
The crop circles are very. They are. They are.
I've known people who've actually gone to the crop circles, and they say that the energy in the crop circles is just unbelievable. The energy is unbelievable.
They leave like a magnetism energy,
electromagnetic energy.
There you
in
go,
the field, and the way the crops are twisted and after these things,
they're not broken. They're not broken. They're just
they're almost like they say it's almost like steam or heat or something had bent them over, right? So that's not guys out there with sticks, and pushing down the crops. No, I believe in them too. I just have not followed that much, but I believe in that. You do have fake ones. It's unfortunate, but
you do absolutely. Yeah, there are people who
some of these really, really elaborate ones that you see, be almost impossible to fake with. Sticks,
like that one that they had where they sent a message. Maybe you can help me out with that, Al. Where they sent a message out to space, and
that's the one I'm talking about.
That's the one Alfred said.
When they sent the rover to Mars, right? I think they sent rover to Mars or whatever it was. They put a gold record in with this binary code or whatever it was.
Yeah, it showed man, a figure of a man, a woman.
But it was all in binary, and then the same thing shows up like 12 years later or whatever it was in a crop circle, and I honestly I don't think too many people knew exactly what was on that gold record to begin with anyway, except for maybe the engineers who are working the computers with the binary code, stuff like that, like the programmers or whatever. So for it to end up in a crop circle in England, I don't think there was any English engineers working on that.
Well, they've said they've seen balls of light around these crop circles before the like the night, because obviously there was no crop circle there, right?
Right.
People have seen that night or whenever it was made, they've seen balls of light, and then the next day there's a crop circle. So maybe these balls of lights are doing it, right?
Yeah, well, they have video, one video of balls of light creating them, but they say the people who shot the video own a production company, so it's bullshit. But I mean,
I saw that video, but I'm saying other people. I know there's a video but there's people that have actually not taken a video, but have seen balls of light around crop circles when they were made, right?
Oh yeah,
Supposedly.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
no,
There could be some truth to that.
Well, there's also, I'd like to add to that. There's also a video of like maybe three small crafts making the crop circles within, I'm gonna say, 30 seconds, bro. Like the whole,
Is that the floating
yeah,
little
they go
balls?
down like,
I
yeah,
think
it's somebody
that's the
like the
video.
hill
I think that's the video Stefan's.
talking
Uh,
about.
is that
Okay.
the video you're talking about, Alfred?
yeah, that's what I was talking about. The people who shot that video own a
Mm-hmm.
production company, so
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
no one is taking that as a legitimate video,
Right.
because they own the CGI company. But
Oh, okay.
yeah,
see, that's the
so
But I
problem,
mean,
though.
but
but
Eh?
it
but
looks
there
real. It
are
looks real. That's
there are witnesses
Mm-hmm.
who have seen that same exact thing,
Yeah, yeah,
but hadn't filmed it, or if they
Filmed it.
had
yeah,
Yeah.
filmed it. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I remember seeing something where these people, these kids, they were having a party up on top of a hill, right? And these three balls of light, or two balls that come down, this Tic Tac, and the kid happened to have, this was back in this, I guess, when in the 80s, 90s, when they had those big,
camcorder.
camcorders that you put on your
Yeah,
shoulders.
Oh yeah.
And he
yeah.
filmed it. He filmed the whole thing. There's 10 kids having a bonfire, drinking wine, smoking weed, watching this, right? Filming it. And then the next day he goes to put the tape in the VCR, and the tape is all snow. Nothing filmed. It was electromagnetically erased on that tape. There was
Yeah.
nothing on the tape, not even video he shot of them having the party. You know
Wow.
what I mean?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's strange, eh?
Yeah.
But that's the problem today with and running a, like, I don't know about your group, but I know in my group you get a lot of people that are posting, UFOs flying around, right, and I mean, they're so good, it's CGI, and I always deny it, and then you can send a comment with your decision, right? And I always go, listen, if this was true, this would be on national news, or George Knapp would be talking about this. This is CGI, obvious. It's just too
Yeah.
obvious.
Hey Kelly, speaking of that, like in your group, since you have like 15,500 members, have you ever had any maybe comments or emails or anything sent to you where they say, you know what, I have actual proof, I have it right here on camera,
I've got lots of
and
guys sending me on
there's
Messenger.
no editing or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got lots of that on Messenger, and I'll look at
Wow.
it, and if it looks like, I can't be sure what it is,
Mhm.
it is identified to me.
You know
I'll
what?
tell 'em-
Especially on those old cameras, like you talk about, where it has the date on the bottom and
Yeah, I
the
tell them just to
time
post it to the
running.
group if it looks good, right?
Yeah.
But if it
Mhm.
looks CGI, I just tell them, no,
Right.
that's not for my group, please.
Yeah.
Especially alien ones, right? With aliens
Right.
walking around, and
Yeah.
come on, man,
Yeah.
that's not real, It's,
Exactly.
so you got to be careful with that, right? Because
Right.
I've gotten warnings from Facebook in my group because people posted false stories, and
Really?
they didn't do their due diligence and investigate it, right? And it's a notch against your group. And if you get too many of those,
Mhm.
they shut your group down. They give you a warning.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
So I've gotten one of those, and I've gotten a couple of them because group members were swearing,
Yeah.
and if they've been in the group for a while and they're swearing, I'll send a warning, and if they do it again, they're out, right? I just block them.
Mhm.
I don't allow even the S word in my group, right? or even I don't. I don't. I keep it out. I don't even allow the emoji.
Oh my God.
Honestly, you know what? Because as soon as you do, Alfred, it gets out of hand. When you got that many members, it just brings out the trolls,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
comments. So
That's true.
once people think, oh, it's a free for all. Look, the guy's using the S word. Let's
Yeah.
So you keep it locked down. Well, it's your group. You run it the way you
So
want to
I
run it.
know,
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
you know what? I know a group out of England, and they allow just about anything in that group. And I'll tell you, his group is not doing very well.
Yeah.
It hasn't grown in over a year. Not much traffic. It used to be good, but I think that kind of stuff people just got sick of and they went somewhere else, right? There was nothing being done about controlling it, so people went somewhere else where they don't want to deal with that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got somebody in my group that wants to tell about their they had a close encounter, right? And they want to tell their story. They don't need somebody laughing and making fun of them.
Right.
No, absolutely
You know?
not. No, you're going to be all like-minded people where everybody
So I'm trying to
everybody
keep it. I'm trying to
respects
keep
everybody
my
else.
group that treat people with respect, right? This is
Right.
a
Absolutely.
UFO group. Some people believe in UFOs, and some don't believe in aliens, but they believe in UFOs. And we all got to get along in this group. So don't be, disrespecting people when they're trying to tell their story, because otherwise you're going to be. Why are you in a group if you're going to be like that, right?
Yeah,
Go.
no, well, there's people who want to be in groups just to have that confrontation.
Yeah,
They
and you know
live
what
they
drives
live
and you
for
know what
that
drives me
confrontation.
nuts. Well, they know they can't, right? But you know what some of
Mhm.
them do, and it drives me nuts
Mhm.
because you can't do nothing about it. I mean, I could block the person, and then you couldn't do it anymore. But they'll leave the little emoji, right? You know how you can do the thumbs up, the heart, right?
Mhm.
Well, they'll leave the little laughing emoji, right? On a
Yeah.
serious subject, right? And
Right.
it's a serious subject.
Yeah.
And then because you can go in there and see who responded to those, and then it'll
Right.
show you who's posting the
Who did
laughing
the
emoji,
What?
right?
laughing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
Right.
drives me nuts when people do that, right? Because why are you doing that, right? It's not funny. It's a
Right.
serious subject.
Because people are idiots and they don't realize that when people put their
Mhm.
when someone comes out in social media like that and he puts that out there, they're taking they're really putting themselves out there,
Mhm.
in the eye of the public, and just
Mhm.
and it's does more harm than good to treat
Yeah.
people like crap. You don't believe the person, you say, okay, thank you very much, and you move on. You don't
I
make a fool out of
I
them. And
I've even sent a message saying, listen,
Right.
if you're gonna react like that, just move on to something that interests you. Just
Exactly.
don't
Keep
answer the
keep
post, right?
yeah, or keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. You know, you
yeah,
don't
it's
have
just
to. You don't have
and
to.
what it does is it'll take somebody who's really like either looking for help and
Mhm.
needs help,
Right.
or
Right.
someone who just was looking for a group and wants to, get this weight
Get
off
it
their
out.
shoulder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone does that to them and they go underground and they never
Yep.
talk about it again,
That's
Well,
right.
and you
And
never
you know
hear
what?
about it again.
And I think a
you,
lot of people don't tell their encounters because of that same reason, because
yeah.
they know
Absolutely.
Well,
that
they
they're going to get
message. You know
bashed the
what? I'll
first.
get people. I will get people message me with their story, and they'll
Mhm.
go, "What do you think?" And I said, "I think you should post it to my group." Yeah, but I don't want to get people are going to, make
Bash me.
rude
Yeah.
comments. I go, "No." I go, "Not in my group." I go, "If they make a comment like that, they're gone." And
Yep.
then they post it, right?
Because they feel safe and
Yeah.
secure. But
Yeah,
but
so I'm trying to that's the
all it
kind of
takes
group I
is
want, right? I want it for the people that are going to be believers and respect one another, right? We're
yeah,
all in this
and you know
together.
what it is? It's tough for people who have never spoken out on the subject in public to take criticism, because
Yeah.
they're so afraid to talk about it to begin with. When you've done it over and over again long enough, like me, and
Yeah.
people can say whatever they want, I just laugh because
Yeah.
that's your
Oh,
opinion,
what's
that's
another one?
fine.
What's another one that makes me laugh is I post a lot of stories, you know, stories with no picture, or the story has a picture, but it's a representation or a rendering or it's artwork, right?
Right? Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
put that there. I literally I have to put that there because even when I put that there, they'll say they'll put a comment. Oh, that's not real. That's fake. That's CGI. I go,
Right.
did you read? It says it's a rendering. It's not
Yeah.
real. It's just a representation of what they saw.
Saw,
You know,
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
drives me nuts. People, people are
You know,
just.
you know,
But
you know
that's
Because
what, you know what really grinds my gears is that like what's
why
that guy
don't you
from the
tell
Family
us?
Guy?
Why don't you tell us and grind your gears, Carlito?
like the guy, like the guy from Family Guy. Remember that? Grinds my gears.
yeah,
That
Uh,
people that never, had an encounter, never had a sighting, never had nothing, they want to go in there and try to downgrade and talk to people. No, that didn't happen. No, you're bullshitting. No, that's fake or whatever.
yeah.
Like if they
That's
were
not true.
experts. Like if they were
Yeah,
experts, you know what I mean? First of all, you never even seen anything or had any type of encounter. How are you going to come and say that's not what it is? What they're saying that they see? You know
yeah,
what I mean? How are you
yeah.
going
But you
to?
get lots of those types. Lots
Yes,
of them.
you know what burns my ass? Okay. People who don't believe in aliens to begin with. And I just say to them all the time, go out at night and look up in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
And
I
you
just
see all those stars that you see up there. Do
yeah.
you think we're the only intelligent life form in the universe? If that's
Bull.
what you think, then I
Bull.
feel sorry for you
Yes,
because you're
I
a very
agree.
narrow-minded
I
person.
agree. And
But
I
these people will fight
actually
with you left and right. You know what I
I
Yes.
know
mean?
they will, and
Yes.
I just posted a post about
Yeah.
that narrative that you're just talking about aliens. That is not talked about with the government. Where they're talking about UAP, UFOs, but they aren't talking about aliens. You know,
Right.
and I think that's got to be talked to much more. Bring it in the open.
Yeah.
It's got to be brought out in the open more with the
Yeah,
government.
everybody talks about
Mhm.
disclosure. But if you read between the lines, like what you're saying, whenever the government comes out with any kind of disclosure or anything of that fact, even with the videos of the Tic Tac and that other thing, right? It's always about technology. It's
Yeah,
never actually
it's
about
never about
you
an
know
entity.
entity,
Never,
flesh and blood,
yeah,
yeah,
never about that.
biological entity. No, it's
Yeah,
never
no,
about that.
they never
Yeah,
talk. They
it's
won't go there. They will not go
it's
there.
only
And
technology.
trust me, they know.
Oh, they know.
They know.
Absolutely, they know. Yeah,
They've dissected, and they know. They're dealing
they
with them.
know.
They know.
Oh, absolutely, they know.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that too.
Yeah,
But a lot of these alien videos that you do see that are on the internet are not real.
oh
You
no,
know.
of course.
Yeah.
90% of the stuff that comes out of South America,
Mhm.
you just got to throw out
Oh, yeah. You got
because
to really
the
watch that.
CGI,
Yeah.
either it's too good
Oh
to be
yeah.
true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
CGI is so
There's
bad that it's
cheesy.
Oh, I
ridiculous.
just
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Cheesy.
cheesy. Yes,
Oh, the
absolutely.
CG.
Yeah.
Well, I always say that when I see that, and what's frustrating is you got to sit through that whole video when they're posting, right? Oh, 15 real UFO videos, right? And you look at the time; it's a 30-minute video, right? And you got to look at it real. So I just kind of skim through it. I push that
Mhm.
that you know
Yep.
I push and
That button.
I
Yeah.
try and
Yeah,
look
that
at
little
it real
bar.
fast, and then
Yeah.
as soon as I've seen a lot of fake videos, and as soon as if I see one of those fake videos in it, the rest are garbage. It's gone.
Yeah.
Can't
Right.
post
You
it.
got to throw it out.
I don't want it. You
Hey
know what I
Kelly,
mean?
Kelly, I have a really interesting question for you, Kelly, because me, Al, and a bunch of our buddies, as you know, in our groups, we believe in cryptids. I know you're strictly UFO, but I
I
wanted to
believe in
ask
cryptids.
you, do you?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Or what is your opinion? What is your take on cryptids having some type of relationship with
I think they're
UFOs and aliens? What do
well.
you think about that?
I think I think UFOs and aliens
Hmm.
are could be dimensional beings too, right?
Right.
Could be coming here interdimensionally. Maybe that's how
Interdimensional.
they're
Hmm.
traveling here.
Right.
Wormholes, whatever. But
Hmm.
maybe that's how Bigfoot is appearing in that. Maybe it's a dimensional being, right? Maybe a lot of these cryptids are coming from a portal or another
Could be.
dimension,
Hmm.
and you see them and then you don't. They're gone, right?
Hmm.
You know. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I know there's a lot of stories where Bigfoot creatures have been seen when there's been UFOs seen in
Yes,
the same
exactly.
area.
Exactly.
So there is
That.
something there. There's a correlation.
Hmm. Hmm. So
There's that
there's been a lot
thread
of.
that I'm talking about. Those
Yeah,
threads.
and
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
up here in British Columbia, in Mission, BC, here and that, we've got a lot of sightings, a lot of videos. I think I posted one on Carlito's group about a mission
Yeah.
Bigfoot. Yeah. Oh wow, we lost everybody. Oh,
Sorry, guys.
where'd
I had to
Alfred
go.
go? Where's
Oh,
Alfred?
I don't know. I guess he popped out, but he'll be back.
Oh, did he pop out too?
Yeah, he popped out.
Oh
Well,
man.
I actually got up to go turn off the AC because my back is killing me, man. I'm like, oh, I felt that cold breeze all in my back for the
Yeah.
last 40
But I
minutes.
think there's a correlation. I believe in.
Yeah.
I've always like Bigfoot up here.
Yes.
You can go into. They actually got just down the road about 30 minutes from my house. Not even 30 minutes. It's called the Sasquatch Inn. It's a restaurant and bar.
Wow,
It's called the Sasquatch
I
Inn.
like that. I like that.
And they got carvings of Bigfoot and everything there. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's just before Harrison Hot Springs up here in BC, eh?
Oh,
I was just telling Carlito there's a restaurant and bar here about 30 minutes from my house that's called the Sasquatch Inn, right? And you know what's funny is all the bikers, the Hells Angels and that, they go there in the summer. All the bikers congregate there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why. They love the place.
Yeah, well, there's
But I'm a big
But,
I'm a big believer in cryptids. I believe in the Mothman and that. Yeah, I believe in stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Dogman.
Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that. Yeah.
Sasquatch.
I don't know if we get much out here. I watch a lot of cryptid shows, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All I watch is paranormal and UFO shows. My wife drives my wife nuts, honestly. Or I'm on you know what? Or I'm on my group. If I got involved with a paranormal group up here and I could go out, and do investigations with them, my wife would never see me, man. Because I mean, she's she gets upset as it is because I put a lot of time into the group, right? But I mean, I have to. It's my group, right? People depend on me.
Hey Kelly, I think the biggest cryptid in Canada is Bigfoot, right? Because there's so much forest.
I think we have the Bigfoot. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know if we have Dogman out here.
Well, I haven't heard any. I'm pretty sure there are, but I haven't.
You got
really
Bigfoot, you got Dogman.
Because there's been
absolutely,
creatures. I've watched paranormal shows. I don't know what state. It's been in the U.S. where I don't know if you guys ever watched that one where that guy goes camping with his wife, and he's got a revolver though, and they come across.
He's talking about the Dogman one.
Yeah, the
South
Dogman.
Carolina.
Yeah, and that thing looked like that thing looked
yeah.
like they did the special effects for that when they did the show was awesome because it looked like a giant werewolf. Like the face on
the 357 on him. He took a shot
at
it.
What show was that?
That was a good show, man.
What show was that?
That was I don't remember which I think that was I got it. Paranormal Witness.
Oh,
that was Paranormal Witness.
Yeah. See, I love those shows, eh? That's all I watch.
Paranormal Witness. Yep.
So I watch hauntings. I watch the hauntings and I watch the cryptid shows. Eh? That's all I probably watch more of those than I do with the ufology stuff because there's more of that on TV than UFO.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, UFO, there's a lot of UFO stuff too.
Yeah,
but I came across a UFO incident in Mission, Canada, where you're from. Mission, right? You say
Mission, BC. Yeah.
Do you know about the one I'm talking about?
I don't know.
The UFO, the big UFO thing in Mission. I want to say in the 60s.
I don't
70s.
know. I don't think I ever heard of it.
You never heard of it? Oh God! I didn't. I should have wrote it down.
But I've only been living here for not even 20 years. I'm from Winnipeg, right?
Right.
So maybe people that have lived here would know. I should do a search on that.
Yes, you
You
should
know,
definitely search it. Yeah, and you know what made me almost fall out of my chair when I seen it? Since we were talking about Mission yesterday, and Dave Scott, because
yeah,
Dave is from Mission too.
yeah, Dave's from
You
Mission,
know,
yeah,
and then I told Dave I was talking to
Spaced Out
you,
Radio.
and Dave said, "Yeah, we own the night." And Dave said, "Yes, that you're a good guy." And I told him that we were going to talk tonight, and then I'm watching this UFO thing today, and Mission comes up, and I start laughing. I was like, he didn't even mention to me that there was a UFO incident
So,
in Mission.
where were you watching this?
YouTube, I think it was. I think
Oh,
it was
really?
YouTube TV or
So, what
something
did you
like that.
what,
Yeah.
what did you punch in Mission BC UFOs or?
I was just watching something on UFOs. I don't know if it was like
And it popped up.
the 10 best cases or something like that.
Oh,
Top
really?
10. Top
So
10.
yeah, top 10, something like that. Yeah,
Well,
And
I
it
know,
popped
Mission
I
up.
know,
came up.
I know. Scott has seen. He's seen a triangle. He says
Yeah.
it was massive what he saw somewhere up here in the Fraser Valley. So I thought that you didn't tell me the whole story, but he did tell me he saw something. He saw one, black triangle.
Yeah.
There's
No,
been
Dave.
there's been black triangles up here quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I mean they're everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how many UFO encounters have you personally had, like firsthand, Al? Like firsthand?
Who, me?
Yeah.
God, I lost track.
Really?
I have so
Really?
many.
You
Yeah,
lucky guy.
absolutely.
Some guys are just lucky like that, man.
I lost track. Yeah,
You know?
there was a period in my life, and I want to say 2012, that I seen a different craft every day and every night for a month straight. And I
Wow.
thought I was losing my mind. I called my brother, who's a
Where, up in
my
New
bro-
York?
Yeah, my brother's a
Yeah.
parapsychologist. Okay.
Yeah.
And I called my brother and I said, Frank, I think I'm losing my mind, because every night I'm seeing something, and then I'm having all kinds of experiences where the car's dying on me and there's a craft over the car, or just different shape, sizes, you name it, I've seen it.
Wow.
And he actually found a UFO group that was like that met up at a library that was like right across the street from my office.
Yeah.
And I started going to that meeting, that group, and just in the beginning, just sitting in the back listening in, just analyzing everybody, see who's crazy, who's not, right? Because I thought I was losing my mind, and then I got to meet everybody, and out of that group, is actually how I started my Bronxville Paranormal Society group. Out of that group, and Brian, that's where I met Brian, and but I mean, I've seen so many different kinds. I seen him do so many different things. I seen a triangle one time, not a triangle, excuse me. I seen a V. It was a V. It wasn't a triangle. It was a V.
Yeah.
Over the parkway in the middle of a rainstorm, with a light coming down out of it.
Chevron, right? It was a chevron.
Yeah.
It was
Chevron's
just a
a
V.
V.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chevron's
Chevron's
the V.
yeah.
Was Phoenix the Phoenix lights? Was that Chevron?
Wasn't
too?
that a chevron?
I
it a
think
triangle?
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a V.
It was a V,
Anyway,
right?
this thing is over the parkway in the middle of a rainstorm, over what do you call that? A development they're building. Like they were building like an executive park on the side of the parkway, right? They were building up like doctors' offices and stuff like that. But it wasn't open yet. But there was a gas station in front of it. And it was like an executive park. And I'm coming over the mountain and I'm seeing this thing, and it's raining cats and dogs. And it's pitch black, and I'm coming home from work and I'm seeing this, and there's other cars on the parkway, and I'm thinking, boy, everybody's got to be seeing it, because the light that's coming down off of this craft is so bright, it's insane, right?
Wow.
So I say I got to turn around, because at this point I'm carrying a camera in my car, a digital camera, because my brother says you got to have a camera, with you. So I turn the car around and I go in, and as I'm getting closer and closer to the exit ramp where this thing is, I'm getting a feeling of dread. I mean, dread like you wouldn't believe it. Like every fiber in my body is saying, "Don't do this. Just
Wow.
turn around and go home." But it's
Mhm.
there, and it's got this light coming down out of it. So I do it. I start to go into this executive park that's pitch black, because none of the offices are open yet, but they got the electrical grid all set up and everything. And that's what I thought it was doing. I thought it was siphoning energy out of the electrical boxes, because they had these huge boxes on the grass, right?
Mhm.
And I get out of the car and I got the camera in my hand and I pull this part. And when I get out, the fog is about 3 feet high to come to the window of the door of the car, right? And I
Mhm.
get out of the car, and again, I got a little voice in the back of my head screaming, "Don't get out of this car. Don't
Mhm.
get out of this car." And
That's the
yet
intuition.
open the door to get out. I get out of the car and I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I start to aim the camera up, and something says to me, "Do you know how easy it would be for something to pull you from underneath that door?" And you would never see, because there's fog that comes up to
Well,
3 feet
you
high.
would you would
You
you would
can't.
just disappear, never
Yeah.
see you again.
So at that point, the
You got to
voice in
think
my
about
head
that.
says, "Get in
Yep.
the car and go home."
And
So
nobody would ever know.
I get in the car and I go home. That's like on a Friday night.
Mhm.
I call my brother up and I tell him what I seen. He said, "Did you get the picture?" I said, "No, I never took the picture, because every fiber of my body was telling me to get the hell out of Dodge, you
Yeah.
know?"
Mhm. Mhm.
He goes, "Okay, go back Sunday. Let me know what you find." So I go back Sunday. Now, like I said, that night it was raining cats and dogs. Okay.
Mhm.
And at this executive park, they had dug a big ditch, like a catch basin, to catch the water, so the parking lot wouldn't flood out. All the parking lots led to this catch basin where all the water would drain into. And in front of that drain, in front of that, was a creek that ran across in front of it. I go back to that park on a Sunday. I go back to that park on a Sunday. I got my camera and I'm taking pictures, and I'm standing on the hood of my car taking pictures, because all the grass around the catch basin is burnt up,
Wow.
and the catch basin is bone dry, and the dirt is literally cracked. Like, that's how dry it was. And
Wow.
Crazy.
meanwhile, 10 feet in front of that, where the creek is, the water is still running so hard coming down off the mountains that you could have surfed down that creek.
Wow.
Wow.
And I took pictures
Amazing.
of it and I sent it to my brother, and my brother just freaked out, because my brother was a MUFON guy at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just freaked out. He was like, "Oh, you got to interview the people at the gas station, and you got to
Mhm.
do this." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm not interviewing. I'm not going into the gas station
And you
and
know what?
just,
And you know what?
asking these people."
I'm glad you touched up on that. Electricity thing where they were charging those transformer boxes. You're saying, I've
Hmm.
heard a lot about UFOs charging up in the clouds when there's a rainstorm, when there's thunderstorms and such. That those clouds are all having lightning and
Oh,
thunder.
electromagnetic energy going
Yeah,
through them.
and,
Yeah,
and, and,
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
they
Yeah.
and they sit on top of where we can't see them, because of the clouds. They sit on top of the cloud and recharge, kind of like a phone, charging, wirelessly or
Cell
something.
phone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
and that's crazy. It's like,
there's even been quite a few cases where
mhm.
they've actually witnessed these things sucking up water.
Wow,
Oh, yeah.
never heard of that one.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
why? I don't know.
Well,
But
it's
there's
a
got to be a
conductor.
reason.
It's a conductor. Water's a conductor,
Yeah.
and they,
Well,
they need it.
Yeah.
Same as what is it? Gold. Gold is a superconductor. That's why they found
yep.
gold in
Gold.
the
Gold.
pyramids. Mercury is
Yep.
also a superconductor.
Yep.
But
Um,
you know what I'm going to do is when we're done this interview,
mhm,
I'm gonna actually tag. I can tag you both actually. But
mhm,
there's another story I want you guys to listen to. Another podcast.
mhm.
I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's I can spell it out for you. But it almost is spelt like the Pentrich. Pentrich. It's PentyRch. That's the word.
Mhm.
Pentrich.
Yeah. It's a weird word.
And it's a Pentrich incident. It's Welsh.
Oh, it's in Scotland.
Yeah. It happened there, and it's such an interesting story about a triangle. I don't know. Have you watched this podcast?
No.
You haven't? Okay, I'm going to tag you guys in this podcast. I have it in my group, so I'm going to tag you, so then you guys will have it. It's a great podcast to listen to.
Okay.
Really interesting story. Really interesting. And that one was this one happened in 2016, so it's quite new. Really good story. It's too long to go into.
Okay.
Well,
But it is about a triangle that wasn't there. And this man and woman are on acreage, and they're in a mountain area, sort of a fishbowl mountain area. And they watch this. I'll just give you a brief one. They watch this little plane flying around for days. They said they must have just switched pilots, and this plane just went back and forth, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, these big planes showed up with the radar, the round radar.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, why would something like that be flying around their area? They never do. And then the jets showed up. Jets were showing up. And then this triangle appeared. And these other things, like I'm not going to tell you the whole story. But anyways, it was almost like it was coming from another dimension. Because this thing just appeared.
Yeah.
And then when it was coming down, the V was I think the V was up or down. I'm not sure, but it was actually an electrical volt, like electricity. She could see it touch. The V didn't touch the ground, but this electricity was coming from this craft and touching the ground. It was really interesting to listen to. And this woman is, I believe what this woman and this, I believe what this woman and this man saw. You know, like if you heard their story. Right. Actually, on that link that I'm going to tag you guys in, there's 2 videos. I have 2 links. Yeah, 2 podcasts. Very interesting.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. It kind of sounds like, what was it? The End of the World movie where they shot the electricity into the ground.
Yeah, well, you know what happens is
these
tubular craft actually come out of this. Start popping out of there. A bunch of them start popping out of this triangle, right? And the jets actually chase these things, and then there's one of these things crash in another little town further away from where where it all started, right?
Okay.
So that's like the story gets really interesting. So I won't say anymore, but it's really interesting. I'll actually move it up in my group too, so it'll be right like at the beginning, right? I always do that, right? You know what you do? I don't know if you know, but if you go into if it's a post you do, anybody's post, if you go into comments and you just put following, just type in following and enter, it brings that post right to the beginning of the group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a tech guy. Like my partner Brian runs all the groups.
Yeah,
he's a tech guy.
Because I had people saying, Kelly, I'm reading the comments and it says following. What do you mean following? I go, I put that because it just moves the post up to the front. Post up to the front of the line, right, in front of everybody's, right. It just brings it right, even if it's months old, right.
Right.
And you find it, just comment following, and it brings it right to the beginning again. Right?
I'm gonna definitely have to try that little trick and see what happens.
Yeah, anybody's story that you find interesting, just go into the comments and hit following, and it'll bring it right to the front of the line, up into in the group.
Okay,
pretty neat.
I'll have to try that. Yeah, absolutely.
But also, everything that is posted in my group, I post to my page. I have a page that's called the UFO Files, not the UFO Files group. It's the same logo I use, right? And it's linked to my group. And so everything that somebody posts to mine, I share it to the page. Because I got a lot of followers on the page too, right?
Right. Absolutely. Sure. I'm sure you should have just as many on the page as
and then I also advertise my group link. I also have a thing that says, hey, if you like my page, please join my group. Here's the link, right? So I get a lot of members like that, right? Pretty good.
Sure,
pretty
absolutely.
Good feature.
Yeah.
But you should always have a page, because if you always have disgruntled administrators, right? And you don't have a page, they can kick you out of your group and take your group. If you have a page, and you're the only person on that page, and it's linked to the group, you can go back into the group and kick everybody out and take it over again.
Okay.
Right? So
You're gonna have
that's
to,
why, honestly,
yeah.
that girl that had those 5 groups, she taught me that. She said, if you're going to make a group, you got to have a page and link it, because if somebody ever wants to take your group, they can do it.
That's interesting.
Whereas
Yeah,
if you have the
absolutely.
page and it's linked, you can go
Right.
back into your group. Even if they kick you out, you can get back in your group and you can kick them out, and you're the owner of your group again, right?
Right.
Let me
So
ask you a question. What do you think that the aliens, whether they be interdimensional or extraterrestrial, right, are using this planet as like a petri dish, and are doing not only taking us for our DNA and examining us, but all the other animals on the planet, Bigfoot as well. See, I have a theory that a lot of times, like a lot of people, they'll see a craft, and then 2 minutes later, Bigfoot will come out of the woods, and they'll say, "Oh, the Bigfoot was flying the UFO, or this, or the Bigfoot is an alien."
Or
And
dropped
I
off.
say, not necessarily, right? Maybe it was just abducted, and they're just bringing it back because they finished doing
as long as
DNA
they,
testing
hey,
on.
as long as they don't say, "Well, look at Star Trek, Chewbacca, he was a," just kidding, because he kind of looked like Bigfoot, right? anyways,
Well,
no,
Chewbacca was, yeah.
yeah. But I think you're probably right there. I also think that some of them are probably uh, robotic. Some of these gray
Yep.
aliens. I'm not saying all of them,
No, not all of them. Absolutely not.
but
Yeah.
I think some of them are robots. Look what we're doing with robotics. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if we're going to be around, uh, and if we're still around in a few hundred years, man, can you imagine our technology, the way we're going?
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
You saying that right now, Kelly, the robotic. Um, there's been speculations about aliens. The outside, what we see, that body, it's really not a body. It's a suit, and it's an organic suit combined with robotics. Because
It could be.
the
Could
real
be.
alien
Maybe.
is inside of him.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe they're all
yeah,
robotics. I
yeah.
mean, maybe they
Right.
say that if we get too smart, that
Uh huh.
robots could probably like the Terminator, right?
Well, they say that the actual being it's a very small little guy that's inside of that mechanism organic body. See what I'm saying? That
I mean, they
tall.
can live
You
forever,
know,
right? We can't. So
right.
that's one advantage they have.
hmm
They can almost live forever, really.
hmm So it's like a
Yeah. But
suit.
I also
It's
I
like a
also
suit.
believe that I
Uh
also
huh.
believe that they're taking humans for our DNA, because it's like it's one of the only true DNAs that may be left out in the universe, especially if we're still in our infancy stage and everybody else is so much more advanced. Just like you're saying, who knows what they've done over the years
hmm
to destroy their
Yep.
own DNA. That's
Right.
one thing, and I forgot where I was going with the other thing. I had 2 points I
No, you're
wanted to
absolutely
say,
right, though.
but
And who
yeah,
knows?
and I also
Maybe they took over their maker.
oh, you know what else I
Maybe
wanted to
their
say?
maker's gone.
hmm
Maybe a
Right.
virus killed them, and they went on. They lived on. The virus killed the biological beings
Yeah.
that made them, and I mean, there's all kinds
Right.
of things that could
Right.
happen, right?
Right. Right.
And I also
It's
believe that
interesting.
there are aliens that are terraforming this planet as we speak right now to make it more cohesive to their life, for them to live on it. You know what I mean?
Well, they
Yeah,
say that they live
With,
in
with
the
the
oceans
with
and
all the
in inner Earth, they live there too. So they're here on Earth
I
already. It's
believe
like
that. I believe
yes,
they're in our
it's
deepest.
like
I believe
yeah,
they're in our deepest oceans.
yes,
I believe they're in our inner
in the
Earth.
Earth. Exactly.
And they could also be
Yes,
on very secluded parts of this world we
there's
don't.
yes
And the
deserts.
Arctic, the Arctic,
Arctic, Antarctica is
no,
one of them. That's the
deep
definitely in
main one.
Antarctica.
deep under
Antarctica is
the
the main
ice.
one. Yeah.
You know,
They've even found pyramids in Antarctica that we didn't know about.
I don't
50
think they
years
have
ago.
to go very far to get here.
You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
I believe.
Right.
For all we know, they could be making these crafts here. We don't
Mhm.
know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they've been here for millions of years.
I
I
think they've
really
been
and
here
I
do.
and
too.
I think they're still here because they never left. They were just here, but
Oh
just
no,
No,
I think they're
in
still
a
here.
different place that we can't see them, like inner Earth
Yeah.
is for one example. The ocean is another example, which 80% of the
And
ocean has not been
maybe
explored.
their technology is so advanced that they can cloak themselves and
Right.
hide from us. That
in
they're
plain
like,
sight.
Yes,
you know, they could be,
Yeah,
they could be so far advanced. Some of their technology you couldn't even
right,
think of.
exactly. And
You know,
another point I wanted to touch real quick is Marquetta Jones, which is on here. She's been listening. Thank you, sweetie, for being here
yeah,
and
she's
making
been a real,
yeah.
she's been a
She's
really,
been putting
really
in a
good.
lot.
Uh, I don't know what do I want to
Yeah,
call her?
yeah.
Fan?
intricate part of
Yeah, I can't read.
the
Okay.
conversation.
No,
Yeah.
Yes.
she's got.
She's keeping up with all the conversations.
Yeah,
So she
she's.
says they making hybrid out of us, and I think that's a
Of
very good
course.
Yeah,
possibility.
maybe she should.
Yeah.
She should join my group.
And I
I
think,
need people like that.
and I think they've been around for a long time. Those hybrids since back from Adolf Hitler days in World War One and World War Two and all that, because they've even been seen or identified within the secret services. Where they look like
Well,
alien
look at
hybrids.
they say the Men in Black. They
Yeah, yeah.
look
Those
like
are
they don't look
mhm.
like they're human.
No, they don't look like they're human. Like no
Which
eyebrows,
is
no.
interesting, eh?
Yeah, yeah. So I think
What do
that
you
would be
think?
like I think that would be considered a hybrid, right there.
What
That's
do you
what
think,
she was saying.
Alfred? Men in Black.
Well, yes, some are off planet, from
Mhm.
off planet, and some are government officials. I think it's a combination of
Yeah.
both.
Mhm.
But I also think, like a lot of people, when they talk about alien bases under the oceans, right? And if you
Yeah.
ever see like a dramatization on one of these shows of an alien base under the water, it's on the surface of the water, right? The sand, and there's this big dome with these aliens. I don't think it's like that at all. I think their bases are actually underneath that ocean.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think they can open up that ocean. Like if we go
Yeah.
down there with our submarines, we're not going to find a whole metropolitan city of
No.
aliens.
No,
Right.
You're going to have to.
they
They're
probably have some
underneath
kind of
that
trap
soil.
trap
Yes,
kind
it's
of
opening.
hermetically sealed door that you cannot see. It looks like part of the
Yeah,
ocean floor,
on the
and it
ocean
just
floor.
opens
Yeah.
up,
Hmm.
right?
Yep,
And then it
And
goes in
then
that's
there.
what I think.
yeah,
Mhm.
I believe that. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't believe that there's like a whole metropolitan city
Nah.
underneath the dome. Because that's our imagination.
that's
That's
our
our
thinking.
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
Our view
Yeah,
of things, right? Not somebody who's so much
exactly.
more advanced than us.
We watch it too.
Absolutely.
We've been watching too much Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch Hollywood movies. They're all remakes of something that
Yeah,
happened, something that
I
happened
like
30 years
I
ago.
like a good science fiction one though. I really do. I like to watch.
I love science fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
The
too.
last
My
science
best
fiction.
one, the best one for me is The Thing with
Yeah.
Oh, the thing.
Kurt Russell. The Thing
Yeah.
that was such a good show.
Yeah.
I think my favorite all time is Predator. When
Oh,
Arnold.
Predator's good too.
Oh, yeah.
With Arnold, the one with Arnold
yeah,
though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
the other ones were starting to get silly, especially with the
The
Jamaican
Predator.
gangs and that. That was
Yeah.
just silly.
That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That
Yeah.
was
But
that was
No, but I
silly.
mean,
the Predator
it's
concept makes total complete sense, man. If you think
Yeah,
Oh,
about
absolutely.
what's that other one
They
where
come
where
down.
the guy's getting really old and he's trying to
it.
go
Cocoon.
to this huh?
Cocoon.
No, he's got his
That was another
spaceship.
good one. Uh-huh.
He's trying to get his spaceship to go to this planet because these people he feels made the humans and maybe they can cure them. Oh, you know who I'm talking about.
No, it's
The
not
second
drawing a
part, the
blank.
second movie is where they're on the planet and they inhaled this guy inhales, it goes in his ear, and it's the alien. What's the show called?
Nope. No, I'm not drawing.
You're
blank.
not drawing you're
No.
not drawing an attention to
No,
where
no.
she's pregnant. Where she's pregnant, the guy's a robot.
Oh, You're talking about
Oh,
was
what's
it
it called?
Alien? Was it called Alien? Was that Alien?
No,
Alien?
no,
Or
no,
no?
no.
No,
That there was a robot in that one too,
Oh,
but there's a
okay.
robot in this one also. He's a
Oh,
robot.
okay.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
I
Can't
don't
remember.
remember.
Anyways, it was a
Yeah.
good show. It was a good show. But
Yeah, and I like
anyways,
Marcotta just said that she wouldn't be surprised if they're making some of the mermaids. I wouldn't be surprised if they're making half of the cryptid creatures that we see.
well, look at those
splicing DNA.
creatures, the creatures that the Russian divers saw right in the ocean when they saw USOs. They went down into the water and there was these creatures with big heads and they had webbed hands and
Oh yeah,
feet.
I saw that one. I know that
Yeah,
one.
did you guys hear that story?
Yeah, I did hear that story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what was that? You know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Marquetta's saying Alien Nation. Is that
What,
the
as
show?
for that movie?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Alien Nation.
Okay.
It's quite new. It's quite new.
No, it's not ringing a
Trying to
bell.
think. They were big muscle white humans with they were muscle humans. The guy at the beginning of the movie drinks something and he starts to disintegrate and he falls over into the waterfall and there's a big UFO standing sort of like up and down when it begins and he's standing by a waterfall and he's a muscle guy. He's gray. They're big, these aliens. They look human though. And he drinks this liquid in this bowl and it does something to him and his DNA falls in the water. Like he just melts.
Wow.
Oh, what's the name of the
not ringing a
show?
bell.
Anyways, I love the show. And there was a second show to it, a part 2, right? I love them both. They were great movies.
You know what my two favorite movies were with aliens and all that? What was it? 1,000 Leagues, something about 1,000 Leagues or something. What was it? The Abyss. The Abyss.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah,
that was a really good one.
Yeah.
That one right there is what got me believing in aliens. And I was a kid when I saw that movie.
Isn't that the one where
10 years old? I hadn't had any encounters yet. I hadn't had any encounters of my 3 encounters that I had UFOs.
So why don't you talk about your encounters and tell Kelly about your stuff?
Yeah, you got encounters?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I got, I never told you that. Yeah, I got 3. Yeah. So one, I'm going to make them short and sweet though. I don't want to take too much, time to explain them all. But okay, the first one was in 92 or 93, something like that. I can't remember. One of those 2. The second one was in 2000. New Year's Eve, actually, 99 to 2000. And the last one, the third one, was in 2013. So they were all kind of like 10 years apart, actually, if you do math. And in the very first one, I was in Mexico City visiting some family. And I was with my wife. We went in a store. This was like downtown Mexico somewhere. And there's a lot of shops everywhere, right? And we came out and we seen like a big crowd, and we were like, "What is everybody? What's all the big ruckus about, right? What are they giving away for free, right?" They're like, "What is that?" And we're, curiosity got the best of us, right? Curiosity, and we're like, "Let's go check it out." So we went and we're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, don't you see it?" And they're like, "What? What do you mean don't see it?" And then I turn around and yep, sure enough, everybody's like this, looking up and pointing and everything. And we're like, "What the hell?" Like, what are y'all looking at? What is it? I thought maybe, a military display or something, maybe a helicopter, fireworks, helicopter,
flares,
something, yeah. And next thing you know, I'm looking, I'm like, what do y'all see? And then, you can't see it, dude? Really? You can't see it? And I'm like, no, what do y'all see? And then, boom, all of a sudden I just see it, boom. And it looked like you know how the back of the balloons are like chrome looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was round, right? So it was round, but first it was round like this. But then it went into this shape. So I'm thinking it was actually facing, okay, you're the ground, right?
Yeah.
It was facing like this, and then it went like this, right?
Yeah.
Because so it went sideways, right? So if we're looking at it, it was like this first, and
Where
then it
was
went
this?
sideways. No, in
In
Mexico City back in
wow.
'92. Oh yeah, I was visiting, and so I'm like,
Wow.
what the hell? So it looked like a saucer shape when it turned sideways
Right.
like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
what the hell?
Well, there's a
I'm like,
lot in Mexico.
damn. Yes, there are very many sightings in Mexico.
Yeah.
And you know why I think that is? Because the Mexican government or military doesn't chase after him like the U.S. military
Yeah,
does. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They see him and they're right on him. You know what I mean?
Okay, hang on. Before you go on, I
Yeah.
remember the movie
Okay, what was it?
Prometheus.
Oh,
Mm.
Prometheus.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
yeah.
love
Prometheus.
that show. The first one
Prometheus
was
was a good
really
movie.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prometheus was good. Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah, that
so,
first one was good.
yeah, and so that, but it doesn't end there, guys. I was like, okay, well, we seen it, all right. You know, it could be maybe a balloon, it could be whatever. You know, and we just sat there and sat there. I was hoping it was a balloon, and it was just gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes up, and it wouldn't. It would stay there, and this was like maybe I'm gonna refer to like a football field, okay, guys. It was like maybe 2 football fields high
Okay.
in the air, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't that far, you know, just 2 football fields. What is that? 200 yards, right?
Yeah, that's
600
200 yards.
600
Yeah.
Yeah.
600
Okay.
feet. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was close. It was real close
Yeah.
to, you know. And then okay, so we sat there and we watched it. Okay, it wasn't going anywhere. Like, okay, well, we got bored and we left, right? And my wife, you know what? Let's go. It's not moving. It's not doing anything. Let's go. So we walked away. We went like maybe it's a big metropolitan area in Mexico City, just like New York City, Al.
Yeah.
And we caught a cab on the you know in the next corner, cab, and then boom, it stops right there, just like New York. And we stopped the cab. We got in. We took off. Maybe another 5 blocks. I looked back at the rear view window of the cab,
Yeah.
and I could still see this thing. Like, I'm like, what the hell? How can I see it so far? Right? So like, what is
Wow.
that? And so yeah. So I guess when I was up there, it didn't look that big. But when I left, I don't know how that works. But when you leave, it looks bigger. Kind of like the sun
That's
going.
crazy.
No,
down,
it should work the opposite way. It should look.
Yeah.
The further
That's
you get from
crazy.
it,
Yeah,
the smaller
it looks
it
smaller.
gets.
Yeah. Well, it actually
Yeah.
looked bigger. So like, that was
It
crazy.
did the opposite with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like an
So,
optical
what the
illusion.
hell?
That's weird. Yeah.
Hey, but you know what,
And so-
guys?
Mhm.
When you're finished your story, I'm going to have to leave
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No
That's fine.
problem.
because these people are going out where
They
I'm
wanna go to
staying
bed?
here.
Okay.
Okay.
No, they're going out to a movie. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
go on.
Okay.
Let's finish that
Yeah.
story.
Get that
Yeah.
last one in. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I look back, I seen it. Like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, that's weird, but okay. Well, at least we saw it. We could say we seen it. And I told my wife because she didn't believe him. I did. Before even seeing one, I already believed.
Oh,
it.
my wife doesn't
See,
believe in
that's the
UFOs
thing. And I
whatsoever.
said, and I told her, see, what did I tell you? There it is, right there. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. But she didn't really want to, admit to it or whatever. But she said, yeah, I seen it. Okay, whatever. You're too excited or whatever, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, I've been telling
Maybe
you
if
for
my
years.
wife saw it, she might. But
Yeah.
she just
Well, mine
totally,
saw it. Mine
she's just
saw it,
totally
and-
a non-believer.
Mine saw it, and when I tell my daughter this, that we saw this, she's like, yeah, but I still don't believe it. What? You saw it? What do you mean you still don't believe it?
Yeah, some
And
people
my
are like
daughter's
that, man.
what?
Yeah, that's yeah.
And then,
Oh man,
okay, yeah, and then so the very next day, it came out on the news, right? I was hoping to see something, and sure enough, it came out on the news. It wasn't just one, the one that I seen. It was 15 of them. It was a fleet.
No.
Oh
Wait.
wow.
Right above. Yeah, they call it El Centro, which is like downtown.
The Centrals. Yeah.
Centro.
this is in
It
what
came
year
out
was
on
it?
the news.
92?
92, yeah, 92.
Wow.
And so it came on, and I said, see, and I told my wife, I said, see, it wasn't just
Wow.
one, it was 15
Yeah.
of them.
Wow, you lucky
Yeah.
guy, man.
But it wasn't a mothership, it was just one of the little ones that came
Yeah.
down from whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that was my
Cool.
first one. My second one was in 2000. This was really cool. Okay, it was in 2000. We're gonna receive 2000. That's another like mystery thing that I'm thinking. Why 2000? Right? Why not 98? Why not 99? But 2000 exactly. Right? I guess the world was going crazy because it was going to be 2000, and maybe we stirred up enough ruckus that we got their attention or something. But anyway, so this is in Mexico City as well. My dad's house, and we were over there for vacation on what was this like in well, for Christmas vacation and whatever. And we were about to, we were drinking, we were having fun, we listening to music. We had just ate and everything. We were just waiting for the countdown, right, for the new year. And me and my dad was sitting out. We were not sitting, but we were standing outside smoking a cigarette. And it was nighttime, and then they were like, okay, hey guys, let's get ready. The what is it called, that drink you drink for New Year's?
Champagne?
No, there's
Champagne.
Yeah, champagne. And
Tequila?
no,
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just
Well,
kidding.
we do drink tequila, but I'm talking about the ones
That's later.
Yeah, that's
in the
later.
night.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one where you say cheers. Hey,
Yeah,
Happy New
the
Year.
champagne.
man.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to see
so-
more than UFOs with tequila.
So everybody was going around, hey guys, let's get ready. It's only like 2 minutes till, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, me and my dad were talking, and he turns around and looks and was like, hey, what is that? And I said, what? I looked around, and I see it, and I'm like, no, it can't be. And I had a camera, right? This was in 2000. But I had one of those digital cameras, and I had it in my. So I didn't have a camera on my phone. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't have a
Yeah.
a high tech phone then, so I had to go get my camera. Well, by the time I went to go get my camera, came out, it was gone. But let me tell you, before I went inside my house, I seen it. This one was only one football field away, okay? And it was right next to a radio tower. And I'm thinking that's why it was there, because it was listening in to all the frequencies and everything.
Yeah, who knows?
Going
Yeah.
on. And I saw it, and it was was it saucer shaped? Like
Yeah,
saucer.
cylindrical.
Cylindrical, yeah. And but it had lights going around it, and it had all the colors, all the purple, blue, green, yellow, red, orange, white,
Cool.
all the colors, and they were just like going around the thing. I'm thinking they went all the way around, right? So it was just like changing colors. I'm like, wow, dude, that's cool. I gotta get a picture of that. When I went in, came out, boom, it's gone. I'm like,
Oh, man.
God. But my dad's seen it. My dad's seen it too. So like.
So, yeah,
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But hey, I got to go. These guys are going to a
Okay.
movie at 9
Okay.
o'clock, and it's
Okay.
8:13 here.
Okay.
But hey, nice. I had a great time with you guys. We got to do this
Yeah,
again. Hey, let's do
absolutely.
this again. Let's
Yeah.
do this again.
Yeah, let's do
That's
a
fun.
part
Maybe
2.
next
See if
time
we can get.
We'll get Luke on.
Luke,
Yeah, we'll try and get
yeah.
Luke on. But
Yeah.
we'll do it again for sure, and I'll tag you guys in these
Okay.
couple of podcasts I want you guys to listen to. Tell me what you
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
tag us, man.
for
That way
having
we can
me.
check 'em out. Yes,
Kelly,
absolutely.
a lot of
fun.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly.
All right,
Thank you.
I'm off. I'm off home, so I'm going home now.
Okay, man.
Hey,
All
guys.
right, thank you.
We'll see ya.
Thank you, Carlito, for having me. It was a lot of
Yes,
fun.
Yes, Carlito. Thank you,
You're
man.
welcome, man.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
both
guys.
of y'all. Thank you very much.
Same, Alfred. Nice
okay.
talking
Thank
to
you.
See you guys.
Hey,
Good night, everybody.
Al,
Yeah.
can you hang on just a second?
Okay. Good night,
Okay.
guys.
For Kelly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we're fixing to end the interview, Al. But before we go, I just wanted to say that maybe we can do it again if it's okay with you.
Yeah,
We
it's
could
just
try to get Kelly.
you know-
Luke in. Next time, because we did have.
Oh, absolutely,
uh,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know-
because I took a lot of notes. I talked to both of these guys. I
Right.
pre-interviewed them both. And I
Right.
took a lot of notes, and Luke has got some very interesting stuff.
Yes.
Yes. That I wanted to touch on tonight. And
Right.
I told him that this was a safe place, that he
Mhm.
could talk about it, because he was a little leery about discussing some of the stuff that
Yes.
had happened to him over the years. And
Right.
so I told, and I kind of convinced him that it would be cool that your audience is
Mhm.
like-minded and they're good, and you don't to worry about any trolls and anything like that, and
Right.
we're all like-minded people. And
Right.
so I kind of convinced him to talk about some stuff,
Mhm.
and unfortunately it didn't work for him tonight with technology, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't with technology.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that was a lot of
Exactly.
fun, and
Yeah,
and
man,
I had
absolutely.
I had a good time, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you inviting me over.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Thank you, Alfred. Yeah, I don't think if I had ever shared my UFO encounters with you, but yeah, for everybody that's still tuning in here, because I see there's still people here.
So let's
Yeah,
finish up with
those
the
were.
last one.
Yeah,
Finish
That's what I was gonna say. Let me
finish up
finish the
with number
last one.
3. Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
the number 3 one was in 2013, and it was here in Texas. So I
Okay.
know there's a pattern. Mexico's a big hotspot for UFOs. Texas is also a big hotspot for UFOs. I think Arizona's another hotspot. Australia, I know, is a hotspot for UFOs. So there's certain parts of the world that they're really hotspots for UFOs.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Texas has the biggest Air Force base in the
Yeah,
country there as well.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean. They
Yes,
have
exactly. So
yeah.
so so let me go ahead and finish the third one so that people can finish this and go do what they got
Okay,
to do.
everybody can absolutely.
Yeah. And so the third one was in 2013. That's why I say they're like 10 years apart for some strange reason. And I was kind of hoping this year, 2021, maybe next year. Anyway, 2013, it was here in Texas. I was working in industrial plants. You remember I told you, right? Working in
Hmm.
refineries. Okay.
Yep.
Well, it was one of those days coming out of work. It was like, I don't know, summertime, uh, maybe 3 or 4 p.m., something like that. We were going home. And some guys, this was back in 2013. So, like maybe 3 guys drove up in the front of the truck, and maybe 4, 5, 6 guys in the back of the truck, right? And we were just, going on, about, how we were going to, go home and drink some beers or whatever, you know what I mean? Guys talk, right? And next thing you
Hmm.
know, we were all just, laughing and having a good time and everything. Because it was the end of the day. We were so happy we were going home. And then one guy's like, "Hey, guys, look, look, look." But he said, like, look right away. And I turned around and looked, right? Because I said, I'm not missing this. I'm not missing this, man. I turned around like that. And it just 1, 2, boom. And it took off. So I just saw it for like 2 seconds. Okay. And this one was far. I'm going to say at least 5 miles, 5
Yeah.
miles out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And it was daytime.
And
It
was
was a
was
clear
it
sky.
was it still metallic like the other ones?
Yes, it was metallic like the other ones. Now I
But
can't
we
really
couldn't tell the shape
the
because it was
shape
too
now.
far away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too
Okay.
far. But it was
Yeah.
metallic and it was silent, and it just stood there. And I'm even thinking like this guy must have heard us, man. To as soon as we turned around and took off, like you know what I mean. That's what I got out of that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
why
No.
did he take
Hey.
off right when we turned around? Not 2 seconds. So they're like, look, 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 and we turn around, 1, 2, boom, took off. Like God, but we saw that 1, 2 seconds, like it was just still right there, just still. It wasn't moving, it wasn't traveling, it was just still. You could see it, just still. And the next thing you know, took off like that,
Yeah.
just
And you
like
know
in
what?
the movies and videos and stuff.
And I know we laugh about it when we say it
Yeah.
sounded like it hurt us,
Hmm.
but it
Do you think that could be?
could have not so much heard you,
Uh-huh.
but it read your
Sensed,
consciousness,
sensed us. Yeah.
that thought. The
Hmm.
minute he had that thought, he's seen it, and he said, "Everybody, look!"
Yeah.
Like in his brain, he had that thought.
Yes.
That's what they heard.
And it might have been the picking up of the frequency in our conscious, because
Right.
when you're
Right.
normal and you get excited like, oh, car's gonna hit you, your frequency it skyrockets up. So maybe they picked up on that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because
Frequency.
when Brian and when we were doing our investigation at Nuclear Lake, and I seen that light going across the sky, right?
Yeah.
I said, "Oh God!" I said in my head, "Oh God, please don't let this be a UFO. Don't let these guys get abducted because of me." And I
Yeah.
was trying to move everybody along so no one would notice it. But it was such a dark sky, and this thing, when I first noticed it, it was strobing silver. And
Wow.
when Brian pointed up and said, "What's
Look,
that?"
what's that?
and it stopped, and then it started to strobe like orange, and it
Oh,
came right towards us. You know what I mean?
wow.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if it heard me say, "Oh God, please don't let this
Right.
thing,"
Right.
or if
Yeah.
it heard Brian's thought
Right.
say,
Thoughts.
"What's that?"
What's that? Boom.
It
Yeah.
heard. And that's when it stopped, and it made a beeline towards us. So I
Right.
don't, I know it's funny and we laugh about it, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really, I really truly believe that they can not read our thoughts, but hear our thoughts.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I know that for a
Yep.
fact because of my my abduction experiences, I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? That it could hear our thoughts. But I mean, but
Do you
yeah,
think
no, I
that
mean,
Al, just to conclude this right here, do you think they have that special ability? Well, they could. Actually, I think they can. Like, tune into the whole city wherever they want to and hear what those people are saying or talking or or even thinking. Like if they want to just pinpoint a place and just
I think
listen in.
us as human beings, we project our thoughts out into the universe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think some thoughts to them are it's just chatter and bullshit. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right.
And some thoughts, like there's
Or
the
catchy.
government has keywords they listen in for when they're
Right,
listening to us. All right, I think
right,
it's the same thing. If they hear something that um, sparks a thought, sparks a flame with them, or something to that effect, where it says, "Here's a key word." This guy
right.
just had this thought. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
that way. You know
And
what I
check it
mean?
out. Right,
Yeah,
right,
and I
right.
do. I truly believe that it's all about our conscious. That's what they hear,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure they can tune in to any kind of frequency that they want. You know what I
Right,
mean? And I don't
right.
know what kind of frequency our electromagnetic brain waves put out, but I'm sure they can tune
Mm-hmm.
into that. And like I said, if it's just high school
Right.
girls on the phone just talking nonsense, like
Yeah,
no,
yeah. They're
we
like,
don't want to listen to
no.
that shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
if you're like people like us,
Mm-hmm.
when like Brian and I, when we do the CE5s, and you
Mm-hmm.
got a group of people all putting that thought out there, that collective consciousness, and you're putting that energy out there, that's like a beacon to them. I do.
Right,
I
right,
think they do hear it. Yeah.
right. That's like
That's just
almost
one man's
astro.
opinion. You know what I
It's
mean?
almost like astro projections. What you're talking about, right? With their
No,
thoughts
astral
and their.
projection is a little bit different because you're projecting yourself
Mm,
out into the the
universe and
atmosphere, or
atmosphere. Hmm.
the space, deep space, or whatever. Not just a thought, but you're actually projecting your consciousness, your mind. You're seeing stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm. 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 Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's
All right.
you
Well,
know
it's a
what?
good
That's
show
a
tonight,
yes,
man.
yes. Thank you, thank you. Yes, it was. Yeah.
And next time maybe
Thank you.
we'll have this conversation when we'll go down this road. We'll get deep into
Yeah,
consciousness and
yeah. I
thought.
would I would like to. I would like to, man. I
Yeah.
would like to go
Yeah.
deep in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
today
Absolutely.
we really didn't have that much, because we had to kind of take turns talking or whatever, so we really couldn't
Yeah.
get really deep into it. But I think if we do another show, then yeah, we can.
Well, like
Maybe
I said, I really didn't want to do too much talking tonight because
right. I
it's
know.
your show, you're the
No, well,
host,
he's the guest. He's the guest.
and
Same
he's
with
the
me.
guest, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you know
wanted to
what I
say
mean.
a lot more, but I didn't. I held myself because I wanted to see what he wanted to say.
Right? Yeah,
What
you
he
know
had
what I
to
mean.
say. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
And I wanted to get around to your stories because I knew he didn't know
Right,
about him.
right, right,
Unfortunately, he had to leave, but I
right,
wanted to
right.
throw it back. Like I wanted to end it
Hmm.
throwing it back to you. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right,
You
right.
finish up with
Yeah,
your three stories, and then we
yeah.
call it a night. You know what I
Right,
mean? And then,
right.
yeah, but I thought Luke would be here as well. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah,
so
things didn't go too according to plan, but things happen. It's
yeah,
normal. We can't
like I
always
said,
expect
I
to have it
mean,
our way.
when it
So
comes to this kind of technology, like him,
yeah,
he couldn't even do it from his house. He had to go down to like into the
yeah,
town to a
yeah. To the
friend's house,
town. Yeah.
and I
Hmm.
know Luke is on the Gold Coast of
Australia.
Australia. So
Hmm.
I mean,
That probably
I
made
don't
it.
know if
Yeah.
he's where he is, if he's in the city or if he's in the wilderness. You know what I
Right.
mean? Who
Yeah. Yeah.
knows?
We don't know. We don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, we don't know. Yeah.
That's
All right,
crazy.
Carlito. Good
All
show,
right.
man.
Okay,
Good
man.
talking to you.
Cool. Cool. Thank you,
Ciao.
brother. Appreciate you, man.
You got
All
it.
right. We're gonna go
Anytime,
ahead
brother.
and end it. Okay,
Ciao.
man. All right.